Welcome to Inspiration right here on your television channel. My name is Felix Dazi. If you're watching us on television, I want to say welcome to you. Depending on what time you're watching us, I want to say good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. If you're watching us on television, we want you to alternatively go on YouTube. It is INSPIRATION, Inspiration with Felix Dazi, and you'll be connected to whatever we're sharing right here on Inspiration. Well, my guest for today, I read her profile, and it says that some people love coaching and mentoring. They love to see people develop the best in others, but she breathes coaching and mentoring. My guest for today, all the way from Germany, I have with me here Elke Hassman. I'm not a German, so you'll pardon me for that, but I'll give her a German name. She will be Miss Akosia. Miss Akosia, welcome.
Miss Akosia, okay, all right, thank you very much.
Welcome. How are you doing?
I am doing really well,
all right,
you.
Good to see you.
Yes, thank you. I'm being fattened up.
Wow.
In Ghana by wonderful hospitality.
Wow. Are you enjoying Ghana already?
I am enjoying Ghana a lot.
Is this your first time coming to Ghana?
This is my first time coming to
Ghana.
Wow.
Yes. A first time in Africa?
No.
Okay,
no.
You've been to Africa before.
I have before, but never to Ghana.
Wow. How do you find Ghana?
Colorful, welcoming,
okay,
beautifully warm. I know people hate the heat. I love it.
You love the heat?
Yeah,
all right.
I love the heat.
All right.
The people are wonderful, fun. Got a great team to work with.
All right.
Good things ahead.
All right.
Yes.
And she is currently, she serves as the director of the International Leadership Coaching Academy, right?
Oh yeah, that sounds like a mouthful.
Anyway, good to see you. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
Have you tasted any Ghanaian food yet?
I have tasted.
Okay, which one did you taste?
Wonderful Ghanaian food. Oh gosh, if I only could remember what it's called.
Okay.
I don't know what it's called, but
okay.
It was some fish, it was some chicken, it was some salad, it was some special rice.
Okay.
It was some, not banana, but the other one.
All right.
Fried.
All right. You enjoy that?
It's a growing experience. Yes.
Interesting. Interesting. So for someone to become a coach or a mentor, the person is training, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But first of all, let me allow you to introduce yourself to those who are watching us. You can do your proper introduction. So let me allow you. All right. So please do so.
My proper introduction. I am Elke.
Okay.
I am from Germany.
Okay.
I am passionate about people. I love seeing potential in people, and I love finding ways to draw it out. And for me, it has a lot to do with seeing what has God put inside a person, and how can we bring that out and not just have it grow, but really see it blossom and see it unfold completely.
All right.
That's
interesting.
what I'm about.
That's what you're about.
That's what I'm about.
All right. Let's talk about your passion for coaching and mentoring. But first of all, what is coaching and mentoring all about?
So coaching and mentoring is about looking at a person and looking at what is inside them that could still be developed. What is inside them that could be grown. So I often liken it to a travel companion with an intention.
Okay.
So you come alongside a person who wants to grow, who wants to change something in their life, but they don't actually know how to do that by themselves.
Okay.
Or maybe they don't actually see inside themselves what
Okay.
someone else might see. So then a coach and a mentor is someone who comes alongside with skills, but also with kind of an attitude of generosity.
Okay.
So listening skills, asking questions skills helps them create a vision of their desired self for the future, and then helps them identify, okay, what is standing in the way for me to become this person that I could be, or to overcome this challenge that is holding me back.
All right. Do you think coaching and mentoring is very important in our days, in this century that we're living in? Do you think coaching and mentoring is very important?
I think it is super important.
Super important.
But actually, I don't think just in our century.
Okay.
Like when I look at how Jesus walked with people, how Jesus invited, for example, Peter, and said, you know, you are a fisher of men, you are a fisherman, but I will make you a fisher of men.
Okay.
So I'm inviting you, come follow me, I will make you. Come into a relationship, follow me, like watch me what I do, and then I will make you. So there's a promise of a transformational change.
Okay.
And so I don't think it's new. I think the terminology is new.
The terminology is new.
The terminology of mentoring, coaching is more of a buzzword now.
Okay.
But I think the principles are ancient wisdom from Scripture.
All right. Now let's talk about you first. All your life, you grew up in. Did you grow up in Germany?
I grew up in Germany.
Okay. Which part of Germany?
Northern part near Bremen.
Okay. So
my, my dad was a captain, so he was at sea.
Okay.
So we needed to live close to the water.
Okay. And how's growing up for you like?
Not easy actually.
Not easy.
Not easy.
Really?
Yeah, not easy. I think I was quite a fearful person. I was quite a shy person. I know you wouldn't believe that.
Because you coach and train a lot of people. So if you tell me you were shy.
And I think it was because people came and saw stuff in me and invested in me that I have become like more courageous, more daring, more adventurous, more risk-taking, and also more aware of what I have to offer. And I think that is part of why I want to pass it on.
Okay. All right. So you grew up very shy. You grew up very...
Yeah.
Okay. Why
like
were you...
turning red in school when somebody addressed me.
Wow.
Yeah.
In school?
In school, yeah.
In school, when you were asked what you wanted to become, what was your ambition then in school?
I think, again, I wasn't super ambitious. I wanted to finish school. I've always loved people.
Okay.
So I trained as a nurse.
Okay.
Worked as a nurse for a number of years. Was very interested in psychiatric nursing.
Psychiatric nursing, okay.
And in kind of the mind and how the mind functions and kind of what distinguishes normal people from not so normal people, but also how mental challenges can be supported and cured rather than just given some medication to be covered up.
Okay.
So.
And how's that experience for you? Did you go up to fulfill that dream and that passion? You did?
I did.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay.
I did.
And working with people, especially in the hospital, how was it like for you?
I think a real privilege. Again, serving people, being able to provide some comfort to people in a very frightening environment. But again, some of the skills that you need for coaching and mentoring, you need in nursing as well. Like the ability to listen, the ability to read the atmosphere, the ability to provide comfort for a person when they are scared, when they feel alone, the ability to provide safety where a person can share. So I think I didn't have mentoring or coaching in mind when I started, but I think in many ways I can look back of how God used that training to already prepare me for what I would do later.
All right. Were there any challenges and experiences in the nursing environment or in the health environment that got you to be aware that God had a purpose for you? Any good or bad experience?
Actually, there was a very defining experience, and I think it was early on in my nursing training.
Okay.
And I worked on a cancer ward.
A cancer ward. Okay.
Cancer ward. And so the challenge was that I knew no matter how much I invested in people, they would die. Like no matter what care I gave.
No matter what you did.
Yeah, no matter what I did. And it got me into probably quite an existential crisis at the time, because I thought, what's the point? What's the point of investing? What's the point of pouring into them if they die anyway? And it got me thinking more, what's the point of living? What's the point of... So I've never been ambitious in terms of I want to be rich.
You never had that ambition?
No.
Why?
No. I think rich people are often very unhappy.
Okay.
I think it's always good to have something that you can't have to keep you alive.
Okay. So that point, you came into realization that no matter what you did, no matter your effort, you were going to lose the person.
Yeah.
And did that teach you something?
I think it taught me to really think about what is worth investing in.
What is worth
Like
investing?
when I look at my life, what are the things that won't go away? That aren't like I knew career, great, but it can be taken from me. Relationships, I've had some worked out, some didn't really work out. So that's health, you can't hold on to it. Wealth, you can't hold on to it. And so it was really a defining time in terms of I want to invest. People's souls and God's word are actually the only two things that last forever.
Okay.
And so I think that was my challenge in
Your
nursing,
challenge. Okay.
but also a real turnaround in my life.
A real turnaround in your life. You got turned. How did you move from being the shy girl into the bold one that actually mentors and coaches a lot of people now?
Again, I think I distinctly remember one person who got to know me, befriended me, and she was, I don't know whether you've ever met people who you feel they have like X-ray eyes.
X-ray eyes.
They look right through your soul.
Through yourself.
And you go like, they see everything that is inside you. They have X-ray eyes. And so this woman was one of those people that had X-ray eyes. And she could see through me, she could see my insecurities. And I'd always assumed if people see that side of me that I didn't like myself, they will reject me. And so she was somebody who saw that and who even articulated that. This is what I see, but also said, I think I can help you overcome this.
Okay.
So she was my first proper mentor, I think, without us sitting down and calling it mentoring.
Okay. And she mentored you. What are some of the things that she taught you that you think has gotten you to where you are now?
I think the importance of unconditional acceptance.
Unconditional acceptance, okay.
Like to start out letting a person be. Like
Okay.
if I want to change you, you will probably resist.
Exactly.
Right?
Uh-huh.
She taught me excellence.
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 Wow.
In terms of, like, she would sometimes look at my work and she'd go like, this is okay, but it's a bit sloppy. And I didn't like her for doing that.
You were not happy with that?
I was not happy with that. But she challenged me towards excellence. She took a very genuine interest in my life. She wanted to hear the story. She wanted to get to know me in the context of my story. And she asked good questions. She listened, like we would have long road trips together for work. And for 8 hours, I'd be trapped in a car with her. And I had these hate-love relationships to these trips because it was like, oh no, what is she going to ask me?
What's she going to say
What
to
is
me?
she going to say? What's she going to see? But there was also this longing of, oh, but in being with her, something changes. It does something to me. And I discover more of who I am. And yeah, so.
Wow, interesting. Yeah. So she actually brought light to you, changed a lot of things concerning you. Let's enter into the issue of coaching and mentoring. Before then, had you had any major setback in your life before you met this one person that actually looked into you and then brought words of transformation into you? Did you have any setback?
I mean, I think I had some of the normal setbacks. I had a relationship that I thought was going to be, oh, I'm going to get married and have family and all this. And that didn't work out. So that was a crisis and a setback. I think when I went through my existential crisis that I talked about earlier, really looking for what lasts in life, that was also a season of depression. And feeling quite unfit for life. So that was definitely a setback.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And so there were definitely some,
There will be definitely some,
oh, yes.
some setbacks. Well, we'll go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll enter into coaching, the aspect of mentoring and how the stages of mentoring and how someone can be mentored to develop his or her own potential, her own full potential after this break. All right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
you're still watching Inspiration. After this break, we'll still be here talking, coaching, and mentoring. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back after this break. Welcome back. You're still watching Inspiration right here on your favorite television channel. My name is Felix Dazi. As I told you earlier on, if you're watching us on television, head on to INSPIRATION. That is Inspiration with Felix Dazi, and then you will be connected to whatever we are sharing right here. All right. So we're moving to our conversation. We said we're going to talk about coaching and mentoring and how it can develop the full potential of an individual. How would you, as a coach and a mentor to many, how do you recognize that this individual has a potential, has abilities, has capabilities to fulfill in this world?
That's a really good and quite a challenging question, actually.
Thank you. And yeah.
I think seeing people, I look at people with what I would call a treasure hunting view.
Okay.
So I'm always looking at people for what else is there. What else could they do? What else could they be? Or I meet somebody in a conversation and I'm just fascinated by, okay. There is more. There's always more. So I don't think there's anyone who doesn't have any potential.
Everyone has potential.
I think everyone has potential.
Okay.
And if you look at people with a treasure hunting view, you go like, okay, maybe there's a bit of coal dust on the surface. Maybe you don't see it right away, but as you spend time with them, and you ask them, maybe about their gifts, maybe about their abilities, maybe about their dreams. Like, what are your dreams?
What are you up to? What do you want to achieve?
Yeah, who do you want to be? What do you want to be remembered for? What do you want to look back on your life? Then people come alive, and then you start seeing their potential.
Okay, so you have to start by asking questions, right?
I think a lot of that.
A lot of questions.
Yeah.
What if you ask questions and the people are clueless, or the one you are dealing with, because you normally deal with a one-on-one interpersonal mentorship and all that. When you ask these people, and some of them go blank, they don't know what they want to do in life, they don't know what they want in life, how do you get to train them and refine them into their God-given ability and purpose?
I think if they are clueless about the future, I will go with them to the past.
Have you encountered
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
like that before?
I mean, I think
they are
there's-
clueless, they don't know what they want
I
to
think
do.
there's certain personalities that are like, oh yeah, dreams about the future. Yeah, my eyes sparkle and I have ideas. And some people go like, I have no clue. But if I then ask them, tell me about a story in your life where you did something that you're really proud of.
Okay.
Tell me something. What would your friends say when they describe you? What do they see in you? What has gotten you to where you are now in life? Most of the time people will find something. And again, you get an indication. So let me give you an example of someone, a lady I worked with. She had been referred to me and her life was in a mess. And so I asked her to look at different areas in her life and just kind of rate her level of satisfaction, like work, friends, community. And her level of satisfaction was super low. On almost
like
everything.
super low.
Super low.
Okay.
Like on a scale from 1 to 10, a 1, like really low.
Okay.
And I looked at this and I thought, okay, if I now ask her, where would you like to be? It's just going to drive home to her how messy her life is. She came out of drugs, she came out of binge drinking, she was not in a good place. And so I asked her, I said, oh, that's interesting. I noticed that in work, you have rated yourself a 1.5.
Okay.
What has brought you from 0 to 1.5? And she looked at me and she told me some things.
Okay.
And so I spent about an hour with her in that particular conversation. And at the end of the hour, I asked her, what are you walking away with? And she said, at the end of our hour, I walked away with a sense of hope and a sense of pride at how far I have come.
Okay.
And that to me was just beautiful. Just beautiful. Because everyone from outside would look at her and go, everything is in a mess. How do you even start rebuilding your life?
Yeah.
And to hear that and to see that then instilling that sense of hope will give her the fuel to pursue new things.
Okay.
So that for me is another core element of mentoring and coaching, that you instill hope that life can be better and different.
That life can be better and different. So what's the difference between a job and a vocation? And what do you think you're doing? Are you into a job, or you're into a job and work? What's the difference between a job and work? Are you working, or you are into a job? And what's the difference?
I think you used the word that we talked about when we were chatting earlier.
Okay.
Which really is vocation.
Okay.
For me, a job is kind of something that you do short time.
Okay.
Work is what you have to do to live. Vocation is what you were made to do.
Okay.
So, and for me, what I get to do is absolutely a vocation. It's what I love to get up in the morning and do.
Okay.
It's aligning who I am and some needs in the world and loving what I do.
Loving what you do. You love what you do.
I love what I do.
You love what you do. Do you feel satisfied waking up in the morning and having people to talk to? Talk to me.
After my first coffee.
The coffee has to be first.
The coffee has to be first.
Okay.
You don't want to inflict me on anyone.
All right.
Before my first coffee. Trust me. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
All right.
But it is really that, it is a sense of, this is what God made me to be and to do. And then he planted me on planet Earth and said, now go and do.
All right. Do you do business consultations and all that?
I do some of that as well.
Some of these things. What do you think? And in business consultations too, there's a time for mentoring. There's a bit of mentoring in that, because you have to tell the people what you do via experiences and all that. What do you think a lot of people lack when it comes to growing businesses?
I think, so for starters, I'm less of a consultant and more of a coach.
Of a coach, okay.
Generally, I really believe that most people know what they want to do and know what they need to do. It's very rarely that they don't actually know.
They don't actually know, okay.
What to do, but sometimes they lack the courage to do.
The courage to do it.
What they want to do. So it's instilling the courage to step out, identifying the fears. And I think what a lot of people lack is the courage to take risks.
The courage to take risks.
Yeah. When you say, what is holding me back from starting a business or succeeding in business, the courage to do what, like if I ask a person, what would you do if you were not afraid? Okay. It's very interesting what people then say. And then they realize, well, actually, I know exactly what I would do if I wasn't afraid.
If I wasn't afraid, okay.
So then you can talk with them about, okay, what are the fears that hold you back and how can we tackle those fears so that they don't become a barrier to doing what already you know you want to do.
Okay. What are some of the examples that you get when you ask people this question, that what are you going to do if fear wasn't a factor or you were not afraid?
I would become self-employed. I would give up a safe job. I would study again.
Okay.
I would try to live in another country. I would, yeah, some of those things.
Those are the things that people get to say.
Yeah.
All right. And developing oneself for to attain higher heights, what do you think that an individual should imbibe in him or herself in order to get to the higher heights of life?
To the higher height of life. What did you mean by higher height of life?
To attain whatever they have always purpose to achieve in life.
I think a good understanding of
Okay.
themselves, their values. What are the values that really are at the heart of what drives you?
Okay.
What does it mean to live authentically and be authentic? Because a lot of people try to become something that they are not because they think that will make them successful. And so keeping up that facade gets really, really tiring. So I remember coaching a lady in London actually who wanted to break through the glass ceiling. So she wanted to further her career and attain a higher position. And as we talked in the coaching conversations, she said, you know, in order to do that, I need to become even more like a really bad, heartless guy. I need to become more like a man. And as we talked, and she actually used some other languages, she said, I need to really become a corporate bitch. Excuse my language,
said that,
but
that's fine.
I'm just quoting.
That's fine.
And I asked her, is that really what you want? How does that sit with who you are as a leader and your leadership style? And she said, well, it isn't really me. And I said, okay, if you try to become more not you, what is the price you're going to pay for it? And she realized she actually wanted something very different, but she felt society demanded of her that she needed to pursue this career to be more important. And through our conversations and reflections, she realized this thing is going to destroy me if I continue to do that. And so aligning herself with what are my values? What is it that I want to look back on in life? Helped her to make a turnaround and pursue some other things.
Okay. What's supposed to be the relationship between a mentor and a mentee?
Oh, there are so many different expectations.
Okay.
When you look just purely in the professional world, they will say you keep a distance, you keep a professional distance.
A professional distance, okay.
When I look at the people that I've worked with, I would say not all, but the majority of them have become friends.
Okay.
Because I don't believe in professional distance. I believe in sharing life. I believe in generosity. So for me, it would be more friendship, but a traveling companion that is comfortable to walk with, but also that you can say goodbye to at some point.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Now, what are some of the challenges you face when mentoring groups, mentoring people, and all that? What are some of the barriers and challenges that you get to face?
I think change is scary. For most people, change is very scary. And so the more you get to a person's sense of self that needs to change, their image of themselves or some of their values or some of their belief system, the more people move into resistance to change because it's too scary. If it's a skill that I need to acquire, that's easy. If it's maybe a performance issue, it's still easier. But if it is like, how do I really overcome some of the ways that I see myself or some of the deeply ingrained patterns that stand in the way, that is much harder. And people find it harder to overcome that. and it takes much longer, and it takes a lot more safety in the conversation to tackle what really needs to be tackled.
All right. Interesting. Well, you are in Ghana for this reason, to train and coach people. What do you have to tell those who are watching this concerning your upcoming training program, and also the training programs that you've been organizing? We'll get to show some of them on television right now so that others can get to see what you do, and how you are training a lot of people to realize their potentials and all that. But what do you have to tell those who are watching us concerning these trainings that you've been organizing?
So this training that we've organized, that a colleague of mine has organized here in Ghana, is called Coach Mentoring Essentials.
Okay.
And it's a 5-day residential course.
Okay.
Where we're looking at where really people who say, I want to develop people and I want to become a lot more intentional about it, but I don't really know how. So we take them through the process. What are the steps to kind of build up an intentional coach mentoring relationship?
Okay.
We also walk them through the skills that are needed to be a good coach mentor. Then we look at the whole area of understanding, shared understanding of coaching and mentoring, but also understanding a person. So if I work with you, it will have to be different than if I work with someone else, because your personality is different, your life story is different, your culture is different, your learning style is different. There's all these different aspects of you, and the more I understand those different aspects of you, the more I can tailor my working with you. And so the way that the course is designed, and that's what I'm particularly excited about.
Okay.
It's designed to equip you to work with people.
Okay.
But it is also designed to help you grow a lot in self-awareness yourself.
All right.
Because you start thinking about, what is my life journey? What has shaped me? What has conditioned me? How have I become the person that I am? What is my culture? What is my personality? How does that play out in interactions? So a lot of people come on the course and they go, I really wanted to learn some skills.
Some skills, okay.
But I totally didn't expect the benefit of learning so much about myself. And also maybe when I come with colleagues to learn about colleagues or my team. And so we take them through a few days of input, but also with practice all the time, because if you just think about stuff or read about stuff or hear about stuff, you don't really learn. So as trainer group, we understand ourselves as facilitators of a learning journey rather than teachers who lecture.
Okay.
So it's very interactive, it's very fun, it's very engaging, it's very personal, and it's very practical.
All right. Let's take a look at some of the things that are done there. Let's take a
Okay.
look at some of the things that are done there during your trainings. All right.
In coaching and mentoring, because that's what I've been doing a lot, but I didn't have any official application. So that was my goal and my dream. My current reality that I started from, my starting point, I didn't have a bachelor's degree. I had training as a nurse, but I didn't have any other degrees. I had done a lot of trainings. I had been with OM for 33 years. So lots of things. Like you asked me earlier, does coaching and mentoring start with asking questions?
Exactly.
And I think asking questions is something that we all do, but asking powerful questions
Asking powerful questions.
that
Okay.
actually open up a person's life.
Okay.
Asking questions that make a person reflect. Asking questions that take a person, like for example, asking a hypothetical question. What if, so you say, I really want to progress in television. I want to take this extra course. I want to become the best presenter in television. But I don't know how. And I would ask you a question like, well, if anything was possible and there were no limitations to you, what would you do? So questions that kind of remove the barriers that we put in our mind that keep us from identifying what we really want. So learning the art of asking really questions that move people beyond the how are you doing, how's your mom, how's your family, how's work, to really think about your life. But then asking questions, of course, is completely useless if you don't know how to listen well.
That's true.
So
That's true.
looking specifically at listening, looking specifically at what makes a good listener, what is required for good listening, but also what are the barriers that stand in our way to listen well, and doing some exercises to just again experience what it feels like to be listened to or not to be listened to.
Okay.
We're asking people to think back over their whole life. And so in the course of the week, they get to create a life map in whatever creative expression they want to do. It could be a collage, it could be a drawing, it could be some representation where they look at what were the main events in my life, but also how did they shape me? Who were the people that shaped me? So somebody said that recently in a training that I attended. They said, who gave you the eyes through which you look at your world? And so giving people opportunity to reflect on their life, to also look at, okay, what does that tell me about my calling? What does that tell me about my values? What does that tell me about how I see the world? And what does that tell me about what I bring to coach mentoring? But also maybe things that I want to address in my own life. I can give you the whole program, but I'm not sure that would be a bit much.
Okay.
Got to keep a bit of suspense as well.
Suspense.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this eye-opening stuff. What's the benefit of fulfilling your purpose on earth? That will be my last question to you.
Wow. See, now that is a powerful question.
All right.
What are the benefits of fulfilling my purpose on earth?
Yeah.
I think looking back over my life without regret.
Okay.
Again, they did a really interesting series of interviews with a bunch of 90-plus-year-olds. So they found a whole group of people that were older than 90, and they asked them, what would you do differently if you could live your life all over again? And there were three things. They said we would take more risks.
Okay.
We would take more time to reflect.
Okay.
And we would invest our life in something that lasts beyond ourselves.
Okay.
And I think living my vocation hits all of these 3 points. So,
interesting.
what's not to love?
Interesting. What's your final words to those who are watching us concerning coaching and mentoring? And whatever question that you have, what we'll do is, we know we'll get her here in Ghana again one of these days. You'll visit Ghana again. So you send us your questions via the number showing on your television screen, and definitely we will ask them for you. If you're watching us alternatively on YouTube, you can send us a message on our comment section, and any question you have for her, we will get through to her, and she will get to answer. What's your final words to those who are watching us?
About coaching and mentoring?
Yes, about coaching and mentoring.
Coaching and mentoring is one of the most beautiful things you can do if you genuinely delight in seeing other people succeed.
Okay.
A friend of mine, her mother had a prayer for her, and the prayer was, may my ceiling, may as high as I can reach, become your floor, your starting point. And I think if you have that sort of heart, where you love to see people succeed, coaching, mentoring is for you.
Interesting. Thank you so much. And how do people get to link up with you? Your social media handles and all that?
They don't.
You don't? Okay,
They don't.
okay. So this is what you do?
Yeah.
Okay, this is what you do. You train people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So probably Social media, I'd be very cautious
Okay.
to direct a lot of people
All right.
to myself.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me right here on Inspiration with Felix Dazi. Thank you, and it's been a pleasure. I trust you've been inspired. We spoke about the coaching and mentoring with Elke Hassman, and she's from Germany, and she shared essential points with us, and I trust that this has inspired you. Make sure you're fulfilling your purpose on earth. Make sure you seek coaching and mentoring and guidance concerning everything that you have set out to do, especially if you're in the professional world. You can't do this alone. There are people who have been on the journey ahead of you. Make sure you seek for counseling from them, and definitely their starting point, their end will be your starting point, or where they've gotten to in life will be where you just begin. I'll see you same time next week on our next episode. If you're watching us on TV, alternatively on YouTube, it is Inspiration with Felix Dazi. Don't forget, your mind is the most powerful tool given to you by God. Make sure you don't waste it. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.